Hello, Jake. It's Monday, April 4th, 2011. Boom.
Jake, as I drove to school on this muggy Memphis Monday, I turned up my radio, and on it I heard a sad song. I actually couldn't tell you what it was. I can't remember. I think it might have been
Billy, don't be a hero. Don't be a fool with your life. Billy, don't be a hero. Come back and make me your wife.
Gets me every time. And Jake, we come across songs every day that make us feel, sad or a little downtrodden. But I thought about how rare it is for a song to make you feel genuine sadness or make you cry. And then I sat there and thought, I haven't cried in a really long time. And Jake, it's alright to cry. Crying takes the sad out of you. It's alright to cry. And say what you will, I think it's healthy to display your emotions, with a little waterworks every now and then. And while I'm sure we could recall family events or situations in which we were downtrodden or, conflicted at some point and we found ourselves crying out of, desperation or frustration, but rarely do I ever come across, some sort of medium, be it film or television or music, that makes me cry. In fact, let me tell you the few that have. The first movie to ever make me cry was when I was 8 years old and I was watching Forrest Gump. Oh really, you don't think that was sad? You heartless animal.
Why don't you love me, Jenny? I am not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far, far away from here. Dear God, make me a bird.
Mama always said dying was a part of life. I sure wish it wasn't. Or when Bubba dies? Oh, Bubba, no. And then Bubba said something I will never forget. I wanna go home.
Or when he's talking to Jenny at her grave.
Little Forrest, he's doing just fine. About to start school again soon. I make his breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. I make sure he combs his hair and brushes his teeth every day. Teach him how to play ping pong. He's real good. We fish a lot. And every night we read a book. He's so smart, Jenny.
Oh God. Oh, okay. I can finish this.
I don't know if we will each have a destiny, or if we're just floating around accidental like on a breeze, but I think maybe it's both. Maybe both is happening at the same time. I miss you, Jenny. If there's anything you need, I won't be far away. Say what you will, some people think that, they use Forrest's mental disability as a crutch for sympathy. I think that the sympathy from that film is derived from other aspects of what is a miraculous life and a character. And that's all I have to say about that. Another great movie is actually also about someone with special needs. I don't know why that is, that I'm so attracted to those kind of movies. But I Am Sam. I don't even really have any quotes from that one. It's just a really touching film.
Oh, he just wants to take care of his daughter. He loves her so much.
And of course, Tom Hanks again in Philadelphia.
It's Maria Callas.
Oh, that single jello.
I think that if I cry, Mr. Hanks, in one of your films, you're automatically going to win the Academy Award for that one. I had actually seen those after you won, but in the future, if I see one of your films and just start crying, know that will be your third Oscar. I mean, I think it is directly proportional. I was that close in Saving Private Ryan. And I was even closer, I was like, oh, in Castaway, like, Wilson! But no, not quite, didn't actually form. Tier forms, Oscar gold. Just letting you know in the future. You should let me pre-screen all of your films. Just a thought. And then, of course, the pinnacle of all movies to cry to, Pokemon the first movie. That's not even a joke. Have you seen that movie when the clones are fighting each other and then Mew and Mewtwo are in the middle and you hear that song? It's like,
my brother, tell me what are we fighting for? We've got to end this war.
it's like blaring Christian undertones underneath the surface of a Pokemon movie. One television episode that I also actually, cried on was the Pokemon episode where Ash freed Butterfree. If he's gone, how are you supposed to catch them all? And then, of course, the Goodbye Pikachu episode, which had its own cheesy original song. I also cried during the third Pokemon movie, but just because it was awful. And I do that for every subsequent Pokemon movie. I just sit down, I wait till it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray combo, rent it because you can still do that some places, shut up, and I just pop it into the old PlayStation, and then I cry. I cry like I did when I saw the Dragon Ball movie. And you know what? I'm never going to see The Last Airbender. You know why? Because I don't want to get hurt. Not again. And Jake, I think there are songs that at one point or another have made me cry. Maybe not the first time I heard them, but subsequent listenings when they were maybe reflective of something that was going on in my life, or they just, echoed true at some specific point. Songs like The Rainbow Connection by Jim Henson, 100 Years by Five for Fighting, The Call by Regina Spektor, and The Ballad of Love and Hate by the Avett Brothers. But actually, none of those ever just made me start crying. I mean, they made me feel like, the sense of contentment that sometimes, accompanies crying, I guess. I felt that, but I didn't actually really start crying for any of those songs. But I don't think any of them ever just made me start sobbing the way that some of those films have, and others that I'm not mentioning. So Jake, I would like to know, other than Philadelphia, because I know that one's on your list, what movies and songs make you, tear up, or have in the past? Because I want some. I want the, the high of a good cry, I guess. So I want your picks. Because I'm tired of funneling tears out of old episodes of Extreme Makeover Home Edition, Jake. I need something new. Oh, speaking of Pokemon, my mom came across this whole deck of super all the super rare, first generation Pokemon cards that she apparently never gave to me when it would have been relevant as a child. But she did, and now I'm gonna have to go through and see if I can actually assemble, because I never had the full set of 150. And for the first time, because I never had a Blastoise, never. And for the first time, I held all three of the third tier starter Pokemon in my hand, and it was awesome. Here's a pic. And let me tell you, I haven't been that emotionally satisfied since ever. Now, Jake, I was gonna do a movie Monday, but I just decided against it because I just don't feel like it today. Tell you what, I saw The Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. It was alright. Seemed like a really, if you pretend that you never saw Deja Vu, it seems like a really interesting premise, and it was a really interesting execution of a concept, but for some reason it all felt a little passé. It was still a really, great effort by all of the members involved. I found it pretty enjoyable. There were some plot holes and things that I sort of, in retrospect, felt like analysis would sort of crumble to pieces, whereas I think that better conceived sci-fi like Inception can sort of stand the test of its own ambiguities. But if anybody really likes, if you like Deja Vu, I guess see it again here. I'll give it 3 John heads, 3.5 John heads. Yeah. So see you tomorrow.